Hello, my spooky friends. A Merry Christmas and a Happy Holidays to you. I hope you're getting an opportunity to relax, spend time with friends and family, open up some great gifts, and have some great food. So, today I am doing this elf look. I wanted it to be whimsical yet evil, and I wanted to use all the paints that have been opened or that have lost their packaging. As you've seen in my special effects grab bag challenge, I have a lot of items that lose their packaging because they were thrown in a box and then just kind of get tossed around. So today I'm using grease paints and alcohol paints for the face. The black that I'm using today comes from Mehron, and the green that I'm using to create the shirt is a Walmart paint. So I hope you enjoy it. Sit down, get cozy, grab your snacks, and let's just go ahead and get into it. To begin, I'm using an old pair of pants for this hat that I'm going to connect my ears to. I put that on my head cast, and you can use a measure on your head and cut as you need to, but I created a lip at the top, and then I went through and cut the very back. And the best I could, I gathered all the material just so it was very tight, and I used a safety clip. With my trusty glue gun, I took that lip and glued that down because I don't want that to move. And in order to protect the ears, and I'm okay with destroying the hat, I used some masking tape and put those into place into the lip onto the hat. And to create a pocket, I glued above and below so they sit and they don't move. But in order for them to stay on the hat and not protrude forward or fall out, I dab a little bit of liquid latex onto the back and push that onto the hat. Time to make the teeth. I melt my polymer plastic and I mold that onto the shape of my actual teeth. I created some more pointed teeth and super glued those on to the base of the gum line. With another piece of melted polymer plastic, I create indentions for the gum line and to go in with some alcohol paint and paint my teeth. The alcohol paint will dry quicker, making this process a lot easier and less time consuming. I use black and green to get the gum line to look very decayed. And I go in and tap a little bit of yellow mixed with some green onto the teeth. And then I just continue to build the colors up until I get a look that I'm happy with. So I went in with a little bit more black to make those teeth look very nasty. I then use some clear nail polish to get things looking glossy. But I do have a special tutorial dedicated to how to make different types of teeth. So if you need that, it's in the description below. I then painted my eyebrows white, and then took some grease paint, gray and white, and pushed that all over to the face using a stipple sponge and onto the neck. The next color I'm using is a little bit of a flesh tone, doing the same technique and dabbing that into the grease paint. The alcohol will swim around and it won't be a precise line, so it's good to use it to model on top of other paints. And then with some blue tone, just to make the skin look sickly, I go in and randomly place this all over the face and the neck. This is also an alcohol-based paint. One thing I like about this look, any paint can create this look. I then run some green through the eyebrows. And for green shadowing, I'm going in with some eyeshadow and a thin brush, and I'm creating wrinkles on the skin, paying attention to the forehead, the crinkle in the nose, and the natural face lines, the laugh lines, and the crow's feet. And I'm going over the edge of the nose just to make it look a little bit more whimsical, make it stand out, and making a lot of random ugly faces. I go in and create bags up under the eyes and continue to contour with the green. On the same brush, I take black eyeshadow and I begin to deepen the lines that I placed, smoking those out, getting it up underneath the eyelid, onto the crow's feet again, just smoothing out any harsh lines, and filling in the eyeshadow onto the lids. Eyeshadow mixed with cream and grease paint will do a lot of the blending for you. And that's why I think it's a good combination, especially if you have products that you need to use up. Now with a bigger brush, I go in and smoke out those areas around the eye, just darkening things up into the laugh lines and going back over the contour in the face and darkening that up and blending it with the green. I then take some white eyeshadow and I bring some details in, some highlights for the bags up under the eyes and the bridge of the nose, and back in with a black eyeshadow to create the lifted edges of the mouth. I don't want anything that looks like a Joker, so I didn't get rid of the natural lip line. I go in and smoke out some black eyeliner and continue to smoke out the areas onto the eyelids. And to deepen in the eye sockets, I go in with some black Mehron paint and continue to deepen in and mark out some of the lines to bring them a little bit more forward. So now that we have the shadow in the background and the foreground has a lot more crisp detail. I continue to bring that color onto the bridge of the nose, making sure that I have areas that come out and down in a way to give that real sunken in look on the inner corner of the eye. And continuing with my water paints, I go in and contour, bringing in some crisper lines into the nose, the laugh lines, and a little bit around the edge of the mouth. Making those lines crisper and going in with a little bit of color onto the outer corner of the upper and the lower lip. Now for the fur collar. I paint my lines to get a nice design and overlapping like a jacket collar, and I deepen in and thicken those lines up. Those lines are going to be what we use to blend the actual white along with the black eyeshadow to blend in the middle. Going in with some water paint, I'm using this green. This one comes from Walmart, and I am making sure that that brush is saturated. If you are having a hard time working with water paints, the trick to it is work as quick as you can so that it's not dry. But if you have to go back over it for full opacity, make sure that your brush is very saturated and it rolls over and doesn't rake, because that will lift color off the skin. And don't worry about full opacity. It's okay if the shirt looks a little bit dingy and dirty. If a little bit of skin tone comes through, if that's the look that you're going for, don't worry about it. Now on a fluffy brush, I'm taking white paint and I'm making edges toward the direction that the top goes. So I'm picking up that black at the bottom along with that green, and I continue to make these patterns until I get the area that they come into the center and they become more blended. I do that also for the other side, and I just continue to work until I get the effect that I like. Once you push that into the green, that's why we put the green down first, so when you use the white, that green mixes in with the green and also the black with the eyeshadow and with the other black paint. To break up the color from the tone of the neck, I go in with some more black eyeshadow, placing the shadow at the top around each indentation on the design. I then take a gray matte liquid lipstick and a black eyeliner to define the lips, and in order to bring out a little bit of pattern, I then close my lips because I have a lot of texture, and I tap in some white and then let that crack open. Now that the green has dried, I'm going in with some more black eyeshadow to create a pattern up underneath. Now this wig, you might be familiar and have seen it before. It's from my leprechaun look, so it was still painted red. So in order to change that and make it pop against the black hat, I'm taking a fan brush and I'm going in with some white water paint. This is a great way to change any wigs. Wigs are expensive. So my ears, I do the same thing with the coloring that I did on my face. Put in my teeth, and now it's time for that red. I had to have red and green because it's Christmas, so I left that to the blood element. Now I am using a new alcohol paint coming from Narrative Cosmetics, and I pick up their fresh blood tone, and I put that in areas that I thought would make this elf look evil. I then popped in some green contacts I got from my IBB. I have a tutorial if you'd like to save some money. Check out those codes in the description box. And here is the final look, a grungy, evil, slight, whimsical elf. I wonder what this one's doing in the shop days before Christmas. I would assume that this elf is the one responsible for the lumps of coal. Now that you've taken on the evil elf, why not check out this next Christmas special effects tutorial where the trees attack back. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll see you guys next year. Bye.